should be live. I should probably check since I had to redo the stream key. Since they revoked them all, since Twitch got had some bad times. I don't know if we'll get banned for mentioning it. Probably will. Since
we're gonna get banned for mentioning Twitch.
Not for mentioning Twitch, because that's what we're on, but for mentioning some maybe recent events that may or may not have happened to Twitch. You have no idea what I'm talking about, do you?
No, I wasn't sure if we were live or not.
Yes, we're live. I said we're live.
Oh, okay. You said you weren't sure.
Well, yeah, but I was just double checking. Since I had to swap the stream key.
Good to be live. So, what would you do this fine Sunday, Sam?
Woke up.
Got out of bed.
Well, woke up and stayed in bed for like an hour and a half. I had a not so pleasant dream to wake up to, so I stayed in bed for extra time.
Well, what was your dream, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, just for some reason I was an abused child, and that was not a fun dream.
Lord, that's a dark dream.
It was. And then I, showered, and then I made my dinner and put it in the pressure cooker, although it's crock potting it, not pressure cooking it. So it's still got another 2 hours on it, so I'm going to be having dinner at like 10. But I haven't really eaten lunch today. I haven't really eaten much. I had a little bit of cereal in a cup. I never eat cereal in bowls anymore for some reason. And I had some saltines with cheese and horseradish mustard.
Why are you eating like this? No one's forcing you to be like this.
Well, I was a little peckish. I wanted a little snack, and I didn't have any prepared food. And I had already had a bowl of grapes earlier with my small amount of cereal, so I was like, yeah, I'll have some saltines and cheese.
With horseradish mustard.
Yeah, just to spice it up a bit.
Of course.
Because, I love horseradish.
You do like horseradish.
Hey, it's better than just putting the ground up horseradish on it, right?
Yeah, I get. Yeah, I mean the cheese brings it together.
Option. I had it right there, but I chose the mustard.
Wow.
And then I did the writing for the show, and then I got back to work on my 3D modeling, and now I'm here. What about you? I've really done nothing, and I'm still exhausted. I probably didn't sleep well last night.
Oh, bad dreams usually don't help.
Yeah.
It was a nice relaxing day. I did some grocery shopping. I'll have to do some baking later, or I guess cooking. Had a little bit of a nice low-key hipster morning. Went to my local coffee shop and right while having an espresso. Had a nice caprese salad at the sandwich shop next door. Did some reading. Like I said, did some chores. It's a nice relaxing Sunday on my end.
It just blows my. I would never go out to read a book. That just doesn't make sense to me. Like the people that go to a coffee shop. I guess that's just difference in personalities. But like going to a coffee shop to read, it's just like why would you leave your house for that? That's an indoor activity.
If it's a nice day, and you have a nice cup of coffee. The coffee shop I go to has outdoor seating, so I can sit outside, enjoy my beverage of choice, and read a little bit.
That's fair. I guess I have a balcony. I've put my chair out there before, and you don't have that benefit. So
no. So get some fresh air.
Yeah.
Nice change of scenery.
No, I just kind of stare at the same wall above my computer for the whole day.
And you like it that way, damn it.
Should probably put some art up there or something, but
it's a fairly relaxing day overall. I like to keep my Sundays pretty low key, if I can help it.
Yeah, I mean that's what Sunday's for, right?
Exactly. Get a little R and R.
Exactly. Gotta, just chill. It's the day of rest.
Yeah, exactly.
So that means.
And then before you get back to the weekly grind on Monday.
Yeah, except I've got tomorrow off. So.
Oh yeah, Monday off.
Yeah.
What for?
On paper, Columbus Day, but Indigenous Peoples Day.
Columbus Day.
Yeah.
Didn't realize it was tomorrow.
Yep.
I don't get Columbus / Indigenous People Day off.
Most people don't. Honestly, I'm surprised that I do.
Also, I recognize why it's called both Columbus Day and Indigenous People Day, because Columbus was a horrible person. And they're trying reclaiming that to the people that he actively kind of ruined the lives of. It's just kind of fun to me that it's still kind of called / both of them.
Well, I was reading something the other day that in Columbus's hometown, there was actually an author 150 years before he was even born that was writing about the Americas, because he had heard it was rumors and myths and that kind of stuff.
Because the Nordic peoples had because
they found it, not discovered it, but discovered it for the Western world. So I was not sure why we still have Columbus Day, because he didn't really do jack shit other than bring it to pop culture. He just made it trending, if you will, for the Gen Z.
Truly, the Michael Jackson of enslavers.
But all he did was not pay attention to or maybe even that story's false about him trying to find a path to India. I don't know.
No, that one's true. I know he actually was trying to do that, but
then he's stupid because they had all this information about, or at least myths. Also, didn't Leif Erikson was the one that did it, right?
Yeah, but no one listened to Vikings. They're scary.
Yeah, well, that's why it was Newfoundland, right?
Newfoundland, yes.
Newfoundland, isn't that how it's pronounced?
That's the they newly found it, so Newfoundland.
Newfoundland.
That's probably how they pronounced it. The Vikings, at least.
Well, I got a little bit of Viking in me.
Do you? I didn't realize you had Norwegian blood or Nordish blood.
I'm fairly certain I don't.
Oh, you got the beard for it.
Yeah, that's probably Neanderthal coming through, though.
Yeah, we all got Neanderthal. If you go back far enough.
Yeah. Well, no, what is it? African descent and East Asian descent. I think East Asian descent. I was reading about this the other day. They found East Asian descent people have. Oh shit! It was another one. It wasn't Neanderthals. It was the Devosians. DEV. I'm probably not pronouncing that right. I've only ever read it. I've never heard it pronounced. But I believe they're colloquially called hobbits, is what it is. So they have that genetic history.
Interesting. Pretty sure hobbits aren't real.
No, but they were tiny people, is what it was.
Ah, okay.
They were just short.
I think everyone was shorter back in the day.
That is true. Each
the average height has drastically increased due to good nutrition.
That is true, but also they just were smaller. Because Neanderthals were probably they had a foot on them or something, on average. So it's interesting. You should look it up.
Huh?
I love reading about the ancestral history. Shame that all of our cousins died and or were killed by us.
The only room at the top for the Homo sapiens, right?
I'm a fan of the theory that it was just basically interbreeding to extinction.
Yeah, I guess that works too.
We're considered Homo sapiens, but I guess our initial population was just high enough that interbreeding with Neanderthals and Devosians didn't dilute the Homo sapien gene pool enough, and maybe theirs got diluted too much, and then that's that. I don't know. Who knows? We probably never will know. Sadly.
What? Who knows? Science makes breakthroughs every day.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for archaeology stuff. I love reading about that. All right, we should probably talk about the album.
About ABBA?
All right, we're doing a podcast.
Speaking of the Nordic people.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Audio Shop podcast. This week, we are talking about Arrival by ABBA. We've got that new ABBA album coming out next week, so we thought we'd visit their album that launched them to superstardom to kind of prepare. Because I don't know about you, Cooper, but I'm fairly certain before this week, I'd never listened to a full ABBA album. I mean, I've heard Waterloo, I've heard Dancing Queen, Mamma Mia.
I've seen the movie Mamma Mia.
Yeah.
But I've never actually listened to a full ABBA album either.
There's another ABBA song I really like, but I can't remember what it is.
And next week they're releasing their first album in 30 years. Which is, I guess, a bit of a reunion there.
So have they been broken up or just unofficially?
Well, there's a little interesting story. So let me give you a little background on ABBA.
Okay.
All right. So they're a Swedish pop group. They are, they're formed in Stockholm back in 1972, almost 50 years ago. And the reason they're called ABBA is because the four main people that form the group are Agatha, Bjorn, Benny, and Annie. ABBA. ABBA.
That worked out pretty well.
Which I think is pretty cute. And they are, one of the most commercially successful acts in the history of pop music, especially from like the mid 70s to like the mid 80s. That was their zeitgeist. They had 48 hit singles in the Eurosphere specifically. And they actually got their start into really getting their name out as they won the Eurovision Song Contest with Waterloo. Which I'm not sure how familiar you are with Eurovision, Sam.
I know it's really big over there.
Yeah, it's basically like if a American like sport like football was like merged with like American Idol.
Yeah,
but European, or like maybe the Olympics more likely, since like from different countries.
I know it's bad practice to send a super popular band, which 74 they weren't super popular yet, to be fair, but it's like
they had only released an album in 74. I mean, they only formed in 72, I believe.
Yeah, that's what you said, but I mean, Waterloo is like one of the most popular songs.
Well, maybe that's because of Eurovision.
Yeah,
maybe put in the chicken before the egg.
That's a very good point.
But here's part of the reason why they broke up is the fact that they're actually comprised of two married couples, Agatha and Bjorn. And it's very. Nothing's ever gone wrong with having married couples in a band together.
If there's one thing that makes a marriage stronger, it's forming a supergroup together.
Yeah,
I mean, Fleetwood Mac did it, right?
Yeah, and they did. Their marriage was tight as all heck.
Rock solid.
Rock solid. That rock was like very porous and about to crumble. Annie, Agatha, and Bjorn were together, as well as Benny and Annie. And both of their marriage collapsed while the band was in their heyday. And eventually, the band broke up because of that, because it's kind of awkward to be working very directly with your ex.
Yeah.
So, I guess maybe they're releasing a new album now that there's enough space between 30 years, between the dissolution of their marriages. Or at the very least, actually, it looks like... I'm just checking now. It looks like the album coming out in 2021 might just be written by Benny and Bjorn.
So the women aren't a part of it?
That's what it looks like.
Aren't they the main singers?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's
okay, so maybe we're going to be covering a flop here. We'll have to see. Because I gotta say, there is, what is it, one or two?
Actually, it looks like they might be in it.
Okay. So I was gonna say they're in my mind they are the face of ABBA, the women, because they're actually
they are the lead singers. Yeah, I might actually be wrong about that. But yeah, so marriage fell apart. But didn't stop him from becoming one of the best-selling artists of all time, right? 150 million records. Just nothing to sneeze at.
That's a couple.
That's quite a few. And of course, they've had a successful musical in the form of Mamma Mia, based entirely on ABBA music, which led to both a film and a sequel to that film. So they've had a decent amount of success. I think it's fair to say. With, of course, the album we're reviewing today, Arrival, being their fourth studio album, originally released in '76, and having some of their biggest hits, Dancing Queen, Money, 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 and Knowing Me, Knowing You. So it's, this is kind of one of their big albums.
Yeah, the only one I knew on this was Dancing Queen, if I'll be honest.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest song they've ever made.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
get right into it.
Yeah, let's jump right into it with track number one.
Very short album, like half an hour.
Yes, their name. It's When I Kissed the Teacher.
This, I was surprised by the crunchy acoustic right at the start.
Yes. Very crunchy.
And even more surprised by the just wall of sound that followed the acoustic guitar.
Yeah, it's they actually that wall of sound style is actually something they were trying to emulate. If I recall correctly, kind of going for that, the fuller sound, along with like taking some disco inspirations.
Oh yeah, I mean, disco only died like 2 years prior to this album.
Disco's still alive, man.
Just keep telling yourself that, Cooper.
Yeah, I don't particularly even like disco.
But this song.
But yeah, so this is their first track.
Very.
And I think it pretty well captures what the song's going to be about. Mostly lighthearted, especially in terms of like instrumentation and lyrics. And a very sparkling production.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting one. I don't think I realized how.
Hello?
Oh God, I knew when he started interrupting me.
Hello?
You've got bad internet, Cooper.
Hey, there we go. Sorry.
I wondered why I started talking. You just plowed right through me. It's like, all right, he's in a.
As the resident ABBA expert. No. Sorry, go on.
As I was trying to say, I never noticed their accents that much, but this song in particular was very obvious that they had a little bit accent on their English vocals.
Swedish accent on there.
Yeah. Understandable,
but I think it adds a little bit to the character of the songs.
Yeah, I just never noticed it before. Probably because I had never listened to ABBA on headphones before. I'd only ever heard it on the radio or through speakers.
Yeah. And we should mention that the lead singers on these are kind of alternate between Agatha and Annie, with this one being Agatha.
Gotta be honest, can't really tell the difference between them. But
listening through it a couple times, you can catch it on.
Yeah.
I mean, Annie tends to, I think, sing a little higher. Agatha's a little more smoky in her vocalization, but they're not like dissimilar vocalizations. Which helps keep the pretty consistent sound. So very plucky instrumental backing, very bouncy synth and guitar filling. It's very jaunty.
Mm-hmm. And there's that funky bubble bass under everything too.
Yeah, it's got some funky bubble. I mean, it's a song about of course, I always look at the background of these songs, and I like reading the old reviews for songs that came out like 50 years ago. This one was starts off slow, but quickly turns into a surreal pop homage to low-level sexual harassment.
Oh, I didn't listen to the lyrics much in this one, but that's good.
It's about her, kissing the teacher to his surprise. So I thought that was just a funny little blurb.
Yeah, there was only one song in this album that I really listened to the vocals on, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's not too terribly much going on in the vocals, lyrically anyway. But there's so many vocal layers, and it's sung with such energy that you really can't tell that the song is mostly chorus.
They do like their choruses on this album, that's for sure.
But they do a really good job of everything. Like, sure, they might repeat the same lyrics a lot, but the delivery is different, and they've got so much going on in the background most of the time that you don't really notice. It kind of just takes you along for the ride.
Speaking about going along for the ride, we can go on to track number 2 if you're ready, Sam.
Yeah, a little ditty called "Dancing Queen."
May have heard of it. This is 100% their most famous song.
Yeah, arguably the single song that launched them to superstardom. I mean, Waterloo probably helped quite a bit, but it was "Dancing Queen."
Yeah, this is the one they were remembered for, and I mean, this is basically their Euro pop version of American Disco. Which it became the only #1 hit in the United States for ABBA. So I guess they succeeded in the American emulation.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like an American song, you know.
And that's very intentionally designed like that, you know, going for that disco vibe.
Mm-hmm. Now, I would argue that it's so successful because of the fun grand piano synth combo, and not because it reminded everyone of disco, which was declared dead 1 year earlier.
Well, did the king of disco
listen?
Put the X to it?
Wikipedia says 1960s to early 1970s. So technically, it might even be more than a year. 1976 was not early 1970s. So
it's a disco song that was #1 in the United States. So I don't know what to tell you, Sam.
It was a zombie, you know.
Disco
died, but then it came back, and then it died again.
Yeah, but this one has both Agatha and Andy on lead vocals. And of course, like you said, that soaring piano and like backing bass disco groove is ever present in the background. And the song starts kind of an interesting structure. And the fact that the song just like kicks off right into the chorus. And there's like no lead up. It's just like starts right there.
Yeah, I did not remember how much strings there were in this song. There is a lot of strings. And there's these like percussion shakers that I feel are a bit too high in the mix for my liking. But again, that really doesn't come through on speakers. That's just a headphone complaint because I'd never noticed it before.
No, I didn't really get super bothered by the mixing on this song. And I think for the most part, I mean, a lot of songs are a little overwhelming in terms of how much instrumentation they throw at you. But I think overall they're mixed rather well. There's obviously some production, some good production going on in the background here. Yeah, I mean, it's a very danceable song, which I guess is specifically what disco tries to do.
Yeah, you got to get up on your feet.
Yeah, get moving. And I mean, there's not like much, I guess, song progression, but it's really all about that solid hook.
No, there's really nothing going on in the main vocal line besides the chorus. But there's the depth of the vocal backing, and the instruments are going crazy all over the place. You really don't notice. And I mean, it's not it's like 3 minutes 51 seconds, or 3 minutes 50. I can't remember which one it is. But you just get sucked in, and you don't really notice because it's just chaos, honestly. But danceable chaos.
Danceable chaos.
Jump into track number 3 if you're ready, Coop.
Yes, track 3, My Love, My Life. Which starts a little slower, a little soft, a little angelic, with Agatha on the lead vocals.
Yeah, hard right turn into weird Swedish church music with Beatles-esque strings is what I put.
It definitely slows down a little bit. But things start to kick up in the chorus. Or the violins start like kind of soaring, the vocal harmonies start filling in the background. Mm-hmm. Still maintains that kind of wall of sound quality that the other songs on this album go for as well.
Yeah, a lot more thin though in comparison, which isn't saying much because there's still a lot going on. They got some of those tubular bells in there. Love those. Classic orchestra instrument. And in this one, I noticed the main vocal line feels quite a bit more forward compared to the previous tracks, which, I mean, it's not saying much because the main vocal line in the previous tracks is mixed pretty far back, and this one is as well. It's just a bit more.
It might just be that there's less instrumentation to cover it up.
I think that's what it is. My issue with that was it's kind of clear that there's not as much thought put into the lyrics as the main vocal line, or of the main vocal line as the instrumental tracks. But I mean, delivery kind of completely makes up for that because the fantastic singers, they're just so good at singing.
Yeah, Agatha and Agnew, really knock it out of the park on every song in this album. In terms of, like you said, the lyrics on this album are like majority, just very, and that's saying anything too grand,
Also quite repetitive, but the power they deliver them with just kind of makes you forget about it.
Yeah, they really put their heart to some of these vocalizations, if not the lyrics. But you can feel on the song. Obviously, it's a love song, and maybe the energy of the vocals carry that sentiment more than the actual words of them.
Yeah, yeah. But that's all I had for that one. This one is just kind of compared to the first two, it was slower. It was a slow song.
Yeah. Speaking of nonsensical lyrics, we can go on to track number 4, Dum Dum Diddle.
Yeah, this one, I started out hating this song.
But
I grew to love it. It starts.
What made you do that flip?
So initially, I started hating it because that saw wave synth at the start, it's so good, and then they just drop it out and it becomes generic pop. And I was quite upset at that. I know I shouldn't have been expecting electronic music, but that's what it seemed like it was setting up for. But then just something with the chorus repetition throughout the song, especially towards the end where they do the little synth ditty that plays with the chorus. Just something about that. I'm a sucker for synth.
You are.
Just pulled me in. I was like, all right, I don't hate this song. It's actually all right. It's not great, but it's all right.
Yeah, I mean, the problem I've always kind of had with ABBA is I always kind of feel like I always feel teetering on the edge of being like pandered to, right? Like I know this is a pretty common complaint with ABBA, that they kind of delve into like music, where it's like kind of something that's very Euro-poppy, and the fact that it's like it's supposed to be catchy and an earworm and not like much substance. And this song definitely kind of falls closer to that than some of the other ones on this album. The chorus is catchy as hell. And the kind of plucky acoustic and the synth going out, and of course the vocalization by Agatha and Annie is always great. They carry that energy. But there's it just always feels like on that edge of like being a little like too vapid,
I don't think that. I mean, I think of it more as it's just a fun song. Not everything has to.
No, it's jaunty and it's fun.
Not everything.
It's just like
the Boulevard of Broken Dreams.
No. I walk a lonely road. They're not even British. They're just like doing it in a British accent. Yeah, but like the whole album is pretty much like that, which that's the vibe they're going for. I understand, but sometimes some complexer emotions or something can help to vary it that way. That would still, Dum Dum Diddle is still a solid tune, and the lyrics are actually a little funny. I said how the lyrics don't really mean anything, but this one's a little funny, where like it's essentially a woman being jealous about how much her partner plays violin, which is like a weird topic for a song, but whatever.
Rock solid relationships, Cooper. Rock solid. Jump into the next track if you're ready.
Yes, track number 5. The next single off this album, Knowing Me, Knowing You. So this one's a little more ethereal synth backing Annie's, vocals.
Yeah, this one is really weird for me. It's got this electric guitar that it's the first time they've used it, and it's like a disco rock pop fusion that doesn't really come together. It's like individually great, it all works great. But when you come together, it's like turkey dinner flavored candy corn, which is a real thing, by the way. I found out today.
Well, I don't like that.
So it's
this is Willy Wonka.
Yeah. Apparently, they're also making a new Willy Wonka. I found that out today, too.
Yeah, Timothy Chalamet.
But it's just, I don't know. It's like individually all good. But you put it together, it just becomes less than the sum of its parts.
Like, I think this is definitely the weakest of all the singles on the album. It's got a solid enough pop rock progression, but yeah, like you said, it's kind of like not everything solidifies together, right? It's like when you leave like some sort of sauce or something that out, and it kind of just starts to separate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's like
their style of pop just doesn't mix with rock very well.
I did giggle a bit at the second verse where like there's like these whispery ad libs that just like repeat with a line in the previous verse that I was doing. Which is like, why are you doing that?
That was kind of
I had a bit of a fun piano breakdown at 3, at the 3-minute mark, and there's like this like little guitar solo at the 1:15 mark. It's not like offensive or anything, but yeah, there's nothing super memorable about this song.
Yeah. Like you said, the guitar and piano solos help quite a bit, but just compared to even My Love, My Life, there's just nothing up for show here. Like, it's just kind of them failing to mix rock and disco, and then the song ends.
So, it's a song.
Yeah, there's definitely sounds coming out of my speakers when this plays. Jump into track number 6 if you're ready.
Track number 6,
the
Money,
classic from Pink
Money,
Floyd.
Money. No, that's Money.
Oh, right.
This is 3 times of that.
I think I just accidentally listened to Pink Floyd 3 times in a row for this one.
That is a good song. No, but this is Money, Money, Money.
This one starts like a fucking Muppet musical song.
Which I kind of like.
Yeah, but I was like, really? Is this a real song?
I kind of dig it. And the fact that it's like almost like a very, I'm not going to say like tongue-in-cheek, but it's like theatrical.
Yeah.
Where it goes like kind of for a slightly darker theatrical presentation. Like those plingy piano chords are so like you said, Muppety. But I also really dig it because there's nothing out like anything else on the album.
Yeah, so you know how I was saying electric guitar doesn't work with their style? Man, it fits like a fucking glove in this song. They went from failing to mix styles to just doing it exactly correct in this song.
Yeah, because it kind of, the song's got this, first off, a solid ass groove.
Mm-hmm. Hell of a disco.
But like kind of going for that kind of darker instrumentation paired with like that electric guitar and that like very theatrical piano, oddly solidifies as something that's like both catchy and like kind of unique and fun.
Mm-hmm. It gives off heavy Halloween vibes to me for some reason.
Yeah, but like very, very child-friendly Halloween vibes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, Muppets musical Halloween vibes.
Yes.
And we don't get any glockenspiel, but we do get some high xylophone.
We do get xylophone. And of course, I like the vocal presentation on this as well, by Annie. I mean, they sell... They always sell the vocalization on this album.
Oh yeah, even when everything else doesn't work very well, the vocals are always spot on, even if they're not mixed well or in the right spot. Now I know I mentioned the xylophone already, but I really love whenever the guitar and the xylophone have the little instrumental duet.
Yes.
So that just makes the song for me.
I quite like this one.
This one came out of left field for me. I was like, what the fuck is this? But it's great.
It's definitely probably the most unique on the album in terms of like, go for something a little more musical.
Mm-hmm. Jump to track number 7.
Track number 7. Well, that's me.
Yeah. Now, this is a disco dancing song.
Yeah, it is extremely jaunty.
Yeah.
Quite sugary, too, in terms of its instrumentation.
Mm-hmm.
Or like the song is just speeding right along.
Yeah,
like
honestly, I'm looking at what I wrote here, and I'm like, I didn't really write anything of substance. I guess I just kind of got lost in it. I think this is the first song that has male vocals.
I don't recall hearing them on anything else.
Yeah, I think this is and they're not even in it that much. They're just very briefly pop in, and then they're out again.
Yeah.
But, it's got that vibra slap on it at the end of every chorus. Very good bookend. You know what I'm talking about? The wood block with the little ball on the coat hanger. That's the best way I can describe it.
No, I get what you're saying.
Very good sound.
Yeah, it's an energetic song. It doesn't really. it's a little of an exhausting song because it just hits the ground running and there's no slow point in the song.
That's what I
just keeps this extremely jaunt. The end of the song adds some oohs and some ahs, which I like.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the song does not slow down.
Mm-mm. The only complaint I have about this one is I wish the bass was just a little bit louder. It's just
it's a very light song.
But otherwise, man, this is a bop.
I'm a little more lukewarm on it, honestly. No, that's the worst song on the album, but I just don't care for the lightness of it as much as some of the other songs.
Yeah. Speaking of songs that when I listened to, I was certain that you wouldn't like. Ready to move to track number 8?
Yeah, track number 8. Why did it have to be me?
Which is what Cooper was saying.
Oh boy, finally a throwback rock and roll song.
Oh boy, yeah. Sock Hop ABBA. No, yeah, they did not do this one very well.
It's definitely. In terms of ABBA's always kind of had a pretty saccharine sound to begin with, which Sock Hop's basically that. That's not it sticks out like a sore thumb on this album, like some Sock Hop songs that we reviewed in the past. But also, it's a ABBA Sock Hop song, so it kind of plays into the things I dislike about ABBA with the genre that I dislike of Sock Hop.
Yeah, it's got the most basic piano progression ever. That I swear I've heard a million times before. Yeah. But I will say the musical interlude at 120 fucking slaps. I think that was just the vocals that ruined this song.
That was pretty. I do like. I think the sax is nice. I just wish it was on a better song.
Yeah. And the stereotypical electric guitar lines are pretty bad too.
Yeah, it's really sappy and everyone loves doing a throwback song.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a time of music that I particularly care for.
But Cooper, they bring back the musical interlude for the end, though. They've got this weird carnival organ and saxophone.
Ooh, finally, carnival organ. That's what was missing from this album.
But it's great. Honestly, those two musical interludes saved it from being the worst song for me.
Why do so many albums feel the need for this throwbacky Sock Hop vibe? Are they just easy to make? Is it just da 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 da, and then some lyric about "Ooh, I love my girl" or "I love my boy"?
I think that's honestly, 9 times out of 10.
we needed a 10th song. Because I swear we reviewed 6 albums, or the third to last song is some weird Sock Hop song.
Well, quite a bit of that I think is just Jeff Lynne. If we're being honest,
that's true.
Several of them.
He does like those, but still.
Moving on to track number 9, if you're ready.
Yes, track number 9, Tiger.
So this was the one I listened to the lyrics on, and holy fuck, for how upbeat the song is, the lyrics are horrifying.
Yeah, this is because with Tiger, it's not like Eye of the Tiger. It's fight, fight, fight. It's very killery.
Yeah, this is serious, because I don't have them pulled up, but I'm sure you can do that while I'm saying this, because the whole thing I was picturing while I was listening to this was you got your headphones in, it's late at night, you're walking through a dark alley, and then the chorus comes on, and you hear "I am behind you," and you turn around, and there's the entirety of ABBA standing behind you in a dark alley. I'm pretty sure I would just shit my pants right then and there.
Yeah, the verse 2. The city is a nightmare, a horrible dream. Some of us will dream it forever. Look around the corner and try not to scream. It's me. I am behind you. I always find you. I am the tiger.
But while those sound terrifying, it's so upbeat. It's a good song.
They definitely don't play into the darker themes of this song.
Oh no. But I really like the juxtaposition of the super dark lyrics with the ABBA pop.
I mean, it's definitely something that, like, if you don't pay attention to lyrics, it just comes off as kind of a very generic ABBA song.
Yeah, it's kind of bland otherwise, but with the lyrics, when you listen to them, that's a
I mean, it's interesting, but I kind of wish they, had used this as an opportunity to, do something different with their instrumentation.
Yeah.
Because the chorus is, like, super overplayed on this song. Like, this song's not even 3 minutes long. And it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They did the chorus 5 times in less than 3 minute song.
Yeah, that sounds right. Hey, but the melodic line is fun for it, though.
It's a fine melodic line. I hope you like the words "I am a tiger" because you're going to hear that a lot.
I honestly didn't catch that just because I was trying to listen to the story of the lyrics to try and piece it together in my mind. It'd be really fun to set up like a little horror short to this, An
ABBA horror short.
Yeah.
It got very serial killy vibes to it.
It's just it's a very weird song.
I mean, weird in terms of lyrics, but instrumentationally, it doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, otherwise it's just bland. But the lyrics make it fun.
So I guess.
And finishing off on track number 10, then. The titular track.
Speaking of weird songs,
yeah.
This is track number 10, "Arrival," which going to an album, I didn't, I saw the title track was the last song of the album, which is not uncommon. Typically the first or last track. I did not expect it to be what is essentially a traditional Swedish folk music song.
Oh, is that what this is? I thought it was a Scottish bagpipe piece transposed to organ and strings.
It's very Scottish. I mean, for us ignorant Americans, it sounds more Scottish than Swedish, but that's what they were trying to emulate. And obviously, they're native Swedes, so
yeah, I thought.
I imagine it's faithful.
Didn't sound out of place on a bagpipe.
Yes, I can very easily see this being played on a bagpipe,
especially when the screaming the instrumental line from a mountaintop next to you comes in. Yeah,
this is basically purely instrumental, besides like some non-worded vocals throughout.
Yeah,
it's an interesting way to end the album. I've been giving some crap to ABBA for having some pretty consistent instrumentation or sound throughout this album, but this is definitely a left turn to end the album on.
Yeah. I thought it was bold to make the titular track instrumental, but it was just weird enough to work, oddly. Then again, I'm a fan of Scottish bagpipe playing, so I think I've come to realize that maybe people shouldn't take my taste in music seriously. Or at least my takes, because I like a lot of weird-ass shit that most people probably would not like.
I mean, this is definitely a weird way to end basically a disco pop album with a Swedish, folk music. But, it's interesting.
I think it works.
And it's not like it sounds bad. Definitely isn't something I'm going to be slapping on
no.
for the homies.
Get handed the aux cord and put this track on. All right, you can walk the rest of the way.
There was a Mike Oldfield cover of this. Fun fact.
Who's that?
The guy who did Tubular Bells, the album.
Oh, I've not heard that album.
Oh, you'd like that album if you like weird stuff.
I just mentioned earlier in this album how I like Tubular Bells. So
well, it's called Tubular Bells for a reason. Heavily influenced by traditional Swedish folk music. It's 3 minutes of that, so not really connected to the rest of the album or any way of like connecting it back. But hey, it's a way to end an album.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, none of the songs. It's a singles album.
Oh yeah, totally. But they had a sound.
Well, that's just ABBA.
That's ABBA.
That's not an album theme. That's just what they sound like.
That's true. We should note that some editions of this album are they present 2 more songs at the end of this album. Fernando and Happy Hawaii. We will not be reviewing those because we like to review the album as it was released. Fernando was the bonus track on the 1997 CD edition, while Happy Hawaii was the bonus track on the 2001 CD edition. Don't know why there's 2 CD editions like 4 years apart with different bonus tracks, but whatever.
Cooper, that was the era of CDs.
That's true.
That's like asking, well, the DVD reference doesn't even work now because DVDs are on their way out almost. But that's like saying, why did they release the extended edition of Lord of the Rings if they just released the regular edition of Lord of the Rings,
Well, it'd be like releasing the extended edition of Lord of the Rings, then releasing another, like a slightly different extended edition of Lord of the Rings.
Which, to be fair, people would be very hot for.
It's a good movie. Yeah. But yeah, we're not reviewing those. So that we reviewed it as ABBA intended, ending on that weird ass Swedish song,
or at least the original, maybe not as they intended, but
yeah,
the original release.
I mean, it's a tight album in terms of runtime. It's like 30 minutes?
Yeah, it's half an hour, very short. Because I'm pretty sure the 2 bonus tracks are like the longest songs.
Yeah, they're both over 4 minutes.
Yeah, which I don't. Is there another song on the album that's over 4 minutes?
Knowing me, knowing you, technically at 4:01, but
yeah, the 2 bonus tracks are like 4.5 each. So very short album. But yeah, that's the album. So let's, Cooper, what was your least favorite song on the album?
I mean, the easiest choice is why did it have to be me? I've heard a lot of different bands try to take on the whole sock hop, classic rock and roll sound, and most have failed, or at least failed to make it enjoyable for me. And ABBA is no exception.
Well, we know that you're a picky lover.
I'm picky with not liking sock hop.
Yes.
And I also didn't care for Tiger either. I mean,
really?
lyrics were interesting, sure, or at least interesting for an ABBA song, but like the instrumentation was like boilerplate ABBA, and they replayed that chorus so many times.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I wasn't paying any attention to the instrumentals in that one. I was just entirely building this horror scene in my head to the lyrics. I guess I wasn't paying that much attention.
That's interesting, but I think obviously having good instrumentation takes precedent, at least in a pop song, over good lyricism.
That's true.
Yeah, but what about you, Sam? What was your least favorite?
I have to say, Knowing Me, Knowing You. I think
really interesting.
I think that disco rock fusion really fell flat on its face. Especially compared to the success of Money, Money, Money right after it. It just didn't really work, and they really tried to force it to work, and I don't think it worked.
Yeah, it was definitely their weakest single.
Yeah. But what about your favorite song, Cooper?
I think I'd have to go with Money, Money, Money.
It's a good song.
It's a pretty great song of this album. I mean, I like how kind of theatrical they get with it. It's a slightly departure from their sound while still keeping some of the ABBA-isms. Mm-hmm. Annie has a great vocal performance. I really dig the instrumentation on it, and it's catchy as heck.
You like your Muppets musicals.
I like my Muppet musicals, and ABBA leaned into it on this one. And of course, I'll give a shout out to Dancing Queen as well. I've never been a huge disco fan, but even I can't deny that Dancing Queen is a very danceable song.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of danceable songs, I think while Money Money, I'm hard pressed between Money 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 and That's Me. I actually really liked That's Me.
Oh, okay.
With the all gas no brakes dancing song, and it kind of sucked me in, and it was very good. But the Halloween Muppet musical Money 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 was also a very, very good song. Gotta love me some of that xylophone.
It is nice. I do like that xylophone.
So
All right.
now we've got to do the rating. Do you want to go ahead and do the levels? I don't remember who did it last time.
Oh, I'll go right ahead. So here at the Audio Shop podcast, me and Sam both love vehicles. We're crazy for them. They drive us crazy. And despite the fact that we both lost our license for legal reasons we can't get into, we just love our cars. Thus, we rated our ratings after, our car-themed podcast. So at the very tip top, our cream of the crop, we got Showroom. This is the must-listens, the must-haves. Own it physically, own it on vinyl, because you're going to be playing this to the end of time. And then way at the bottom, you got your scrapyard. Bottom of the barrel. This stuff is something you don't want to be played in the same building as you, much less having to listen to on headphones. And then in between, you got your used rental, fixer-upper like new, kind of basically 1 to 5 rating. And we'll give it like a high or low, kind of depending on how we're feeling. So in this case, Sam, what would you rate ABBA's Arrival?
You think I should have thought about this a little bit before. I think I'm gonna give it a. Oh man, this is hard. I think I'm gonna give it a very high fixer upper. I'm kind of torn between a low like new or a high fixer upper. It's a good album. I really had fun listening to it, but I recognize it's probably not for everyone. I really enjoyed it, but again, this as an album experience, you could have hit shuffle, and it probably wouldn't have been that much different other than, Arrival at the end. There's not really much rhyme or reason to the ordering. I mean, maybe if it was in a different order, maybe it would really wear on you, because I feel like it's kind of got a good mix right now, which is, why I'm saying that. But it's a fun album. I don't think you got to listen to it, though. I would suggest it, but it kind of feels like it falls into one of those categories of it was a fun time for me, but Cooper's probably going to rate it even lower than I did. One of those kind of things.
No, honestly, I think in terms of my rating, I'll have to actually be in step with you, Sam. Also give it like a high fixer-upper. Just kind of for similar reasons that you said. There's nothing like on this album that is, I think, actively bad. It's a very competent album. Mm-hmm. Gets the job done. But at the same time, at least for me, ABBA's kind of always been a very there's just not like much, I say, inspiration or coming out of this album. I don't feel like I've gained too much of long lasting impact or something super unique was taken on it. They can make a very solid pop tune, and obviously they went to disco and they were very successful with that sound, and they're very fun, catchy songs. But at the same time, it's cotton candy, right? Fun to have every now and then. Can't not recommend it, but also at the same time, I'm not going to say it's my favorite food.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe a little sugary, a little junk foody, but they hit all the right notes. They get their job done, and you can throw in worse things. So it's definitely not bad, but certainly nothing above super average.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. So that's the album. Thank you all so much for listening. Now we're going to roll on over to the spare tire, which is just whatever else we've been listening to the past week. Except it's been a little while, Cooper, hasn't it? Because we're just, busy people these days. We got lives. We've got, for some reason, lives that intersect with Sunday nights quite often.
And so we have to. I guess we just really had to spend some extra time listening to this ABBA.
Yeah, yeah, that's what it was.
Huh? No, but what have you been listening to, Sam?
Oh, I'm trying to look. It's been a while. I feel like I listened to a lot of new stuff. Not this past week, but the week before. But I don't remember any of it. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank. Just same old. I swear I listened to something, but I've listened to so much since then. It's not in my recent listens, you know.
Fair. I've been quite busy this week as well, so not too much new music. Listen to the new Bad Bad Not Good album, which is a band of kind of modern fusion jazz that I quite like.
Mm-hmm.
Their album 4 is one of my most favorite albums. So, of course, I had to check their new album out called Talk Memory. And it was pretty good. Not my favorite of theirs, but, definitely a fun listen. I also listened to
Sorry, I was going to say, I listened to that new Mild High Club album, I think. Or, is it new?
Yeah. It was Going, Gone.
Let me view album. Yeah, Going, Gone. Yeah, okay, that was what I was thinking of. I listened to that one. I actually really liked it.
I'm a big fan of Mild High Club, so.
And then I also listened to I guess it has been that long since we've done this, but I listened to the Cousteau twins. Is that how you pronounce it? They're
Cockatoo Twins.
Cockatoo Twins. Heaven or Las Vegas.
Yes.
Not really a fan of that one. It's okay, but don't think I'm going to be going back to it.
You don't like that?
Cherry Colored Funk, that's a good song. The rest of them are just kind of like, man, it's all kind of the same song.
All a sound. It's a vibe.
Yeah.
No, and and the new Sufjan Stevens album I also listened to.
Oh, yeah, how was that?
Pretty good. I say one of his better albums. He kind of alternates between like doing like these very indie acoustic-led albums and like weird like experimental electronic albums, which actually I got kind of quite some like some of them from both. This one was a lot more mild and kind of acoustic-led, but I quite enjoyed it.
Oh, and there was the how can we forget the William Shatner album that came out?
Yeah, the one you listened to, right?
Yeah, I haven't listened to all of it because initially I thought it was hilarious because on the Friday it was supposed to release, 2 songs came out. I don't remember which ones they were. They're forgettable. One was the really shitty country one with Mr. Generic Pop Country Man. I can't remember what his name is. And the other one was with Joe Jonas. The Joe Jonas one, actually not an awful song. It's not good, but in comparison with the country song, it is. And I thought the whole album was 7 minutes, 2 songs. I'm like, that is hilarious.
No, you just clicked on the single.
No, I clicked the album. I made sure I clicked the album.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did because I did it Friday during the day, and I guess all of the songs were not on Spotify yet.
No. You clicked on the single bill, which is just the first 2 songs. Not the album bill. You can literally go into Spotify right now. If you go to albums, it's the full album. If you go to singles, it's those 2 songs.
I realize that they are all there now. I'm saying when I listened to it before, the only thing that was on Spotify for the album bill was those 2 songs.
They're listed under single now.
I realize that now, Cooper, but again, I am saying when I went onto it the day it was supposed to come out and it wasn't on Spotify yet because that was the only result for Bill. Man, get a load of this fucking guy, chat. Come on.
I mean, I don't know. You're the one who was excited for a William Shatner album.
Yeah, and I was.
I don't think we can trust your judgment.
Listen, I didn't realize it was going to be an hour-long thing, which is why I thought it was hilarious when it was just 7 minutes, but it wasn't just 7 minutes. But yeah, I'll get to it eventually. But God, after listening to that country one, the country. Why was that a single? It's so bad.
The funniest thing is, you seem surprised somehow.
I mean, the Joe Jonas one isn't awful. It's not a good song, but it doesn't hurt to listen to. The country one hurts to listen to.
And that's a lead single.
And that's
what he wanted people to hear.
Because apparently, the reason he wanted people to hear it is because it's him lamenting never having been to space, yet playing a space person on TV, and now he's going up in a fucking rocket. So that's why he wanted it to be the lead single.
Highly relatable.
It's him like, oh, I shook the hands of the Apollo astronauts, so technically some part of me went to the moon too. It's like, shut the fuck up, Bill.
Look, Sam, he's just a talented guy.
He's really not. He's really not. He's been made fun of relentlessly for his entire acting career for putting pauses in. There's a whole character in Futurama that roasts him and has a better character arc than his whole life.
Hey, well, if you want to check out a William Shatner album,
yeah,
you can.
Yeah, he's a bit of a jackass. Not a very good person. If you want an original series Star Trek character to look up to, George Takei. There's an upstanding gentleman.
And when is he going to release his spoken word album?
Probably never, because I don't think he'd do that. He's too busy being happily married.
Well, good for him.
But yeah, that's all I got. Let's just end this shit show.
This charade. Talking about William Shatner.
I get so mad at you about that singles thing.
Hey, look, everyone makes mistakes, Sam.
I didn't make a mistake. That's all that was there.
Let's not let William Shatner come between us.
This is the hill I will die on.
The Bill Hill.
No, I'm you calling me a liar for clicking the wrong thing. I clicked the only thing that was there.
I ain't calling you a truther.
But anyway, thank you so much for listening to the Audio Shop podcast. If you've liked this for some godforsaken reason, then you can scroll down and there's a picture of Jeff Lynne. He's the guy with the aviator sunglasses and the somewhat curly hair. That'll take you over to YouTube, where all the past episodes except for Supertramp are. And if you're listening on YouTube, again, for some godforsaken reason, you can come on over to Twitch Sundays, usually at 8 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be live, and you can hop and chat and make fun of us, and we'll snarkily reply back.
And you can also follow us at AudioShop14 on Twitter, and we'll let you know what we're reviewing and what week we'll be reviewing it.
Yeah, and I think we can say right now, next week, it's the new ABBA album.
Yeah, we're doing back-to-back ABBA.
Yeah, had to listen to at least one full album before doing that.
As a baseline.
Yeah.
I feel like O'Reilly will give us a pretty full understanding of ABBA's potential.
Yeah.
So let's see what 30 years of just waiting in the crucible did to them.
They just re-release Arrival. No, I think there's some of the singles out now. I haven't listened to them, but
I want to go in blind.
Yeah, I don't really have any preconceived notions. So, and that's coming out next Friday. So it'll be a quick turnaround. But I guess we'll see you next time then.
Mm-hmm. See you later, shoppies.
See ya.